It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag BYU.
If I'm being honest, I just wanted to be here long. That's what it's all about. I've had amazing mentors along the way, including Lavelle Edwards and Kyle Whittingham, who like sticking where they're at. I appreciate all their examples to me, and so this is a place that I want to be for the long run. Luckily, I grew up cheering for this team, and I played here too, so it helps to play for the legend Lavelle Edwards.
Kalani Sitake is staying, PK. How about that? He wants to be here.
He wants to be here under different terms.
And he largely got his terms. I mean, I've gotten everything, but
I
got a lot.
think that you had to really listen to what he said. He said, I'm a competitor. I didn't want to leave, but I'm a competitor. Meaning he had to check out that option, and that lit a fire under BYU's administration. Now, I talked to Brian Santiago afterward, and I said, well, come on, man. This is, you say you want him here for a long time, and this is the guy, blah, blah, blah. But yet you didn't put together the package until he had leverage. And Brian said, no, we've been working on this for 6 weeks. And that's good, because there's a bunch of stuff that has bothered the BYU coaches, and to the point where they complain about they can't practice in the indoor facility when they want. They have to share it with intramurals sometimes. And
ouch.
Yeah, and that's literally what was said to me. And so with that in mind, Kalani was serious about it, as he should have been, even if he was bluffing serious, because it needed to be done. The phrase I heard was, we're tired of operating on a shoestring budget, those types of things. And I think what's really cool is that you hear when a job is open, doesn't matter what the job is, it can be any job, literally, you always hear, well, get the best person for the job. Well, BYU has the best person for the job. With what the requirements are ecclesiastically and all the other things that go into it, they literally have the best person for the job. And that is really cool for BYU and what they're trying to accomplish.
11-2 and 11-1 speaks for itself. But leverage doesn't hurt when you're trying to get a little more. And the thing is that they're operating on a shoestring budget. Okay, well, was it 3.5 years ago, whatever it was, the press conference with Tom Holman when Tom said we made changes unprecedented.
Well, at the time it was.
Yeah, I know, at the time. But, man, the industry's constantly evolving, and so now an additional $10 to $15 million in NIL money. Man, you need to keep up with the Joneses, or in this case, trying to keep up with the Red Raiders.
Guy reported.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that.
See if that's true.
Yeah.
Kalani in the $9 to $9.5 million range. You buying that?
Salary, is that what you're talking about?
I mean, you always have bonuses. You never know the exact number. They got.
Well, you can if it's a public job.
Yeah.
But for him,
right. But in all the public ones we've seen, there's half dozen bonuses that are pretty common.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
GPA.
Kyle got like $650,000 for going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. GPA.
The GPA is the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Graduation
You do the
rate.
work, I get the money. Ready, break.
Well, yeah. Put in on that list of stupid bonuses, bonuses for being bowl eligible. Oh, come on. You're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 million.
But that's just one thing to pad the stats. I mean, that's not as dumb as the kid does the work and
you get the money.
Yeah. Sure, whatever. I'm not really concerned about the salary as far as that goes. Whatever Kalani feels is good and they feel is good is fine. If it's 8.
It's all a phenomenal amount of money.
Yeah. It's about funding the program. That's more important.
And in the midst of all of this, the college football playoff rankings come out, and you'll be surprised to learn that BYU didn't move. They stayed right at number 11 after beating UCF by 20.
I'm confident the College Football Playoff Committee will do what's right.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't know why you would have that confidence, but politically, I guess for one reason or another, you thought you had to say that because I don't think you believe it. But
I believe it.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Cal targeting Oregon defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoi to become the new head coach of the Golden Bears. He's a Cal alumnus, and he spent the last 4 seasons working with the Ducks as their defensive coordinator. New Michigan State coach Pat Fitzgerald will make $5 million with a $500,000 raise each season in the 5-year deal he signed in East Lansing.
That's a nice cost of living raise.
He also gets a year added to the deal should they win 7 games. Win bonuses are $500,000 if they win 6 games, $1 million for 7, 1.5 with 8+ wins.
10 wins, a statue.
Recruiting starts today. Prospects for the class of 2026. Today's the first day of the early signing period. Today, tomorrow, and Friday. So you got a little 3-day window here for kids to decide where they want to go until they find out they've changed their mind and
Well,
they
you
want to
can
transfer.
commit anytime. Yeah. It's just you can
Now you
sign
can sign
anytime.
now.
But this is you can sign on Monday, but this is the time that's supposedly a binding agreement to have to give you a scholarship and all that.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin says he's heard the boos from the team's fans amidst their recent run of 5 losses in 7 games. And he said, quote, "In general, I agree with them. From this perspective, football is our game. We're in a sport entertainment business. And so if you root for the Steelers, entertaining them is winning. So when you're not winning, it's not entertaining."
Okay.
The Steelers, we just heard from quarterback Aaron Rodgers about receivers not running right routes and all of that. They have just claimed veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen on waivers while cutting veteran defensive back Darius Slay to make room on their roster. So Minnesota let Thielen go to let him latch on with a playoff hopeful, and the Steelers are tied with the Ravens 2 games in front of the Bengals. Somebody's going to have to win the NFC North. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
The LA Clippers sent veteran guard Chris Paul home abruptly overnight and will look to move him elsewhere. Reasons are not clear currently why they're cutting ties. Clippers are off to a miserable 5-16 start. Paul is in season number 21. He's set to retire at the end of the year. A little odd right there. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry will not join the team on their upcoming 3-game road trip. He's still dealing with the effects of a quad injury he suffered against the Houston Rockets. An older team breaking down physically in the middle of an NBA season. How surprised are you, PK?
Yeah, the only thing I would argue with that, we're not in the middle.
Okay. 22nd game win against the Warriors. They got beat at home by the Thunder last night, 124-112. Spurs have been missing guys here through the first 20 games, but they made it through 20 games, 14-6. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies last night, 126-119.
Yeah, they're back.
The Spurs, the real deal now. Done with the whole rebuild.
Yeah.
You got big name guys coming and going. A combination of your 3 high draft picks have all missed some games here, sometimes at the same time.
It is a build, but it's not a rebuild.
Yeah. Wizards keep losing. Rock solid 3-17 through 20 games. They got beat by the Sixers last night, 121-102. Maybe they'll get one of these young players. Will A.J. DeBonsa end up with the Wizards? How will the lottery work? They're clearly going to be right in the middle of it.
Don't even mention it.
Zion Williamson will miss at least 3 weeks with a right hip abductor strain. The oft-injured star will be on the bench once again. He's already missed 11 games this year, so now he's out 3 more weeks.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I think he can. Danilo Gallinari announced his retirement from basketball. 16 years in the NBA, played 14 years, missed 2 seasons with ACL tears. He's 37 years old now, and he's hanging it up. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
Utah goes to Cal. Close game late. They're down a couple points. But those last 2 or 3 minutes go against them. Cal makes free throws down the stretch. They win 79-72. Dai Ames led Cal with 25 points in their victory. 9th-ranked BYU takes on Cal Baptist tonight at the Delta Center. Tip-off at 7 o'clock on ESPN+.
Well, we would normally call that the Mormons against the Baptists, but BYU have any Mormons on the team anymore?
How many Baptists does Cal Baptist have?
Every one of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I talked to them personally.
I know.
I said, are you a Baptist? Are you a Baptist? Are you a Baptist?
Cal Baptist will be hanging out here and playing Utah on the weekend. So, elsewhere, Weber State's hosting Oral Roberts tonight. You get to Texas Santa Clara. UVU's at San Diego State. Check those games out on ESPN+. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Cleveland Guardians pitchers, Emmanuel, is it Clase?
Yeah.
Clase and Luis Ortiz are facing a May 2026 trial on federal charges that they took bribes to help gamblers bet on their pitches. Expecting a trial that's a couple weeks long coming up with those guys. You got sources, PK, saying the Blue Jays are adding Cody Ponce on a 3-year, $30 million deal. He revived his career going over and pitching in Korea and being great. So, the Blue Jays loading up.
Well, there's been guys that have gone over there and come back, and American guys I'm speaking of, and have done well. So, yeah, it's extremely possible.
Hall of Fame players Ferguson Jenkins, Jim Cott, Juan Marichal, Tony Perez, Ozzie Smith, Alan Trammell, and Robin Yount are among 16 members of the Contemporary Era Committee that will consider an 8-man Hall of Fame ballot that includes Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, and Dale Murphy.
Yeah, this is Dale's big chance, I think. You know, he's been out there for a good while. A lot of sentiment. Baseball Network been running stuff, really pushing hard for him. It seems like this is his chance, and I don't have any problem with it.
The odds are as good as they've ever been.
Yeah, I always said that I had to get Fred McGriff in first. McGriff's now in, and then I thought
Dale
Murphy
could be next.
Yeah, guy like Mattingly. I'm not a big. I mean, I know career stats matter, and they should, like Clayton Kershaw getting the 3,000 strikeouts. I mean, that's an enormous number done by few. So I understand that.
So that should matter.
But
you're more interested in them being one of the 5 best players.
Were they during the era that they were good? And it needs to be. It can't be. Who was the one they called him the Bird? Fidrich.
Not
right.
1 year, a big year doesn't count.
Right.
But if you have a 5, 7, or 10-year run.
He was a 2-time MVP. I think he was second in the league in home runs in the 80s. I want to say behind Schmidt or something like that. The team wasn't all that good at the time. But, he can't control that. That's up to everybody else.
Yeah, well, you would think winning a couple MVPs.
Yeah.
Okay, you're at the top of the game for a while. And usually people win a couple MVPs. Maybe not. Fidrich is a great example. But usually if you have a couple MVPs, you were probably top 5, top 10 in the voting other years.
And then you have, what about, are you an ambassador for the game? I'm a little hesitant on that. Now, certainly Dale Murphy was, and still is for that matter. But a guy like Curt Schilling, who's got these outlandish views that he puts out there, that you're thinking, Curt, man, tone it down a little bit. At least I do. Maybe others may think differently. But it seems like, that's being held against him. And should that really, even though I may think his ideas are crazy, does he not have the right to voice them?
How about someone in that regard? This is a little different, but Barry Bonds was never seen as an ambassador for the game. I mean, he was seen as a grumpy guy that a lot of times his own teammates
Which is why I
didn't
liked
like, and his ex-teammates would leak stories and tell stories.
Well,
about
yeah,
stuff.
I could go back to college.
I know.
I heard stuff. My next-door neighbors, 3 of them were on the team. I was literally there when he was there. And, I think that I think he should be in. And I'm a little looser on the steroids than a lot of people are. Because the situation was that who do we know? How do we really know? Sure, we know these guys, but were they facing guys who were doing it? And is that a wash? And then you always go the fallback with him and Clemens, and probably A-Rod too. They had the stats with or without.
Yep.
But that's part of the story. And then he has to address that, or the plaque has to address that.
Tell the whole story at the hall. What's wrong with that?
I mean, ultimately, it is a museum. It's not heaven.
It's baseball heaven. Who was I just talking to? We were talking, there were some of us, and we were talking about which halls of fame we'd been to, and all of us had been to some of them, but not all of them. I haven't been to Cooperstown, and they were just gushing over Cooperstown.
Well,
you feel it when you go through the door.
Well, I think you feel it when you go in the town.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, yeah, I didn't get that at the Basketball Hall of Fame. And once I got in the Hall of Fame, it was fine. But it's in a mall. It's in a pretty average strip mall. It was the weirdest thing. And once you get in it, it feels good. And there's displays, and it's nice. But it was weird.
Cooperstown is an entire town.
Yeah.
So it's not just the hall. And
Right.
it's all centered around baseball. and pizza and those types. I spent a week there once, and I've been there 3 or 4 times.
Well, they've got the fields there, and they have youth tournaments there, and you get to go to the hall while you're at the youth tournament.
Right. And
They've turned it in. A small town has turned it into an entire industry,
and it works in the summer.
Yeah.
I've been to the 2 Hall of Fames that I want to go to in sports. I've been to, which was the one in Cooperstown and then the Negro one, because my father lived there. And
is that in Kansas City?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did go through that because he was a big Negro League guy. He didn't grow up in a lot of his neighbors were black people, and so plus it was right down the street and it was affordable, and he told me about seeing guys like Monty Irvin and stuff. So I went after he passed, and it meant something to me a little bit of a spiritual thing there. But the Negro Leagues, obviously they had tons of guys who were really, really good, and I wanted to do that. And then the other the other Hall of Fame that I want to go through, and I have multiple times, is the Rock and Roll.
Spectacular.
If I'm around and if I'm in, where's basketball? Springfield.
Basketball's in Springfield, Massachusetts.
If I'm there, fine.
Yeah.
Football, fine, but I don't really have any overwhelming desire. In fact, I've been
to football, haven't you?
I have not. I've been to the town and I didn't go.
You were in Canton. It's literally off the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't go. I didn't want to pay.
DJ PK.
Hashtag NHL.
The Utah Mammoth are in Anaheim tonight to take on the Ducks at the Honda Center. Puck drop set for 8 o'clock. Coverage on the Zone begins at 7. 12 wins, 12 losses, 3 OT losses. We're still fairly early in the season, but they, after starting off awesome and being in first place in the division, they have sagged. They are no longer in the top 8. They'd miss the playoffs if they started today. Granted, there's a long way to go. This will be game 28. So there's a long way to go. But this has been a bad stretch, a bad November, currently on a 4-game losing streak, and embarrassed in San Jose, giving up 6 goals in the first 2 periods in the most recent game. Daniil Boot's been called up, so got a new guy to work in, see how they juggle the lines and the defense pairings and how they shake things up here. Played both goalies in the last game. What can they do to turn this around? 8 o'clock tonight on the Zone. What is trending? Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Riley Jensen will join us at 8 o'clock. Fox Sports, play-by-play broadcaster Tim Brando at 9. It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We'll be giving away tickets to Aerofest with Styx in Chicago, the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater at the end of August. August 30th is the date for that. We'll do that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. The question of the day is next. Stay with us.